Hi there, I'm Steven Musto, and today I'll be trying my best to answer the question that a million greasy old white men pretend they have the answer to. Do video games make you more violent? Can virtual violence actually induce real violence? Now this is quite the controversial topic. You could search this up and get a million studies that say they do, and a million other studies that say they don't. So what's the answer? Well, ignoring the controversy behind studies that show a correlation and how they are completely denied consideration by every US court, our lovely, totally unbiased friends at the news would have you believe that video games cause incredibly serious things like murder and mass shootings. Yes, people honestly say enough of this.
There it is. There we go. I have tiny hands.
Oh my god.
This is the stupidest thing.
Can cause you to turn into some kind of super killer. Let's get started. First off, let's look at stress relief. Now, stress relief is great, and needed by a lot of people. Pretty much everyone. If you don't relieve it in some way, pent-up stress can eventually cause you to, well...
Garbage day! Huh? No!
Yeah. Now, getting angry at an inanimate or digital object is a lot safer and more healthy than projecting that anger on something a little more... alive. Therefore, games are pretty good at acting as stress relief. Kicking ass in a game helps one feel empowered, and can act as an escape from the stress of real life. Much like what watching movies or reading books does for some people. But there are many games out there that require a lot of focus and attention, and at first glance appear to actually increase stress. Let's take Dark Souls for example. This is an incredibly difficult game where death follows you around every corner. There's no map, no waypoint, no hand-holding whatsoever. You're on your own. Hell, these are the first bosses. The games start with this. Naturally, this game can be incredibly stressful, but it actually ends up reducing stress at the end of the day. The whole game is based around accomplishing difficult tasks. You die, and you die, and you die, and you feel kinda crappy. Then you learn the fight, you learn from your mistakes, and you get better. Until you finally beat that big boss. When you finally take him down, you get a huge feeling of accomplishment, and all that stress flows away and is replaced with instant gratification. Even when you're stressed from losing, the stress of real life kind of flows away as it's replaced with the more immediate problem. The more disturbing and scary problems of real life are forgotten for a bit as you escape into a different world. Next, let's talk about actual, murder. Yes, people have killed over video games. I've heard of dumber reasons. There have been several stories of kids killing their parents or loved ones, being inspired by violent games like Grand Theft Auto or the like. But let me give you a case on why I think these games are not at fault. First of all, most of these kids are always one of two things. They are either very young, around 7 to 10, or they are suffering some sort of mental illness, usually some form of dissociative identity disorder, or a form of sociopathy or psychopathy. Sometimes it's a combination of both. Like a book or a movie, video games are designed to entice and engage its audience. Video games even more so due to their interactive nature. In a sense, you swing the sword, you pull the trigger, and you blow everything up. But what keeps us from losing our sanity from reading violent novels, watching violent movies, or playing violent video games? That is our basic cognitive ability to reason. All of this violence isn't real. There is no real-world consequence to any of it, because none of it actually physically exists or happened. For example, I could be playing a horrifyingly violent game like Bloodborne, wherein I have to fight a giant, howling, 36-limbed horseman. While ankle-deep in blood and hundreds of mutilated, skin-deprived corpses litter the field. Now, this is absolutely disgusting and complete and utter nightmare fuel. But what keeps it from giving me irreparable psychological damage is that I understand it isn't real. It's all pixels on a screen. The danger comes when someone can't tell the game from reality and blends them together. Video games are getting more and more realistic, and because of this, children with still developing brains or people suffering from certain forms of mental handicap will find them hard to distinguish from actual reality. And let's think about this. Whose fault is it really? The video game? The player? Or the parent who thought it'd be a good idea to give their 8-year-old kid freaking Grand Theft Auto? A game designed to imitate reality, except with lots of guns, explosions, and murder. Great for kids. And again, video games are not the only thing that can inspire a killer. Far from it. J.D. Salinger's popular book A Catcher in the Rye has inspired numerous attempted and successful killings over the years, including Mark David Chapman, who murdered Beatles member John Lennon. It doesn't matter what it is, someone who cannot distinguish reality from fiction can be inspired to kill through books, television, video games, pretty much anything. Video games are just the latest scapegoat in a long line of subjects hated by parents and blamed on for all of the first world's misfortunes. There were movies, then there was rock and roll, and now there's this. Thanks for watching.